Good afternoon everybody. Welcome to today's webinar on revenue maximization and leakage minimization with the help of a billing solution. I am Deepthi from magnaquest marketing team and I will be presenting today's webinar. Before I actually get into the webinar, let me give a brief introduction about magnaquest. magnaquest has been in the industry for the last 14 years, and it actually provides subscription based solution to VoIP providers, cloud broadband and pay TV, and it has successfully catered to almost 150 customers across the globe. So let me get into the presentation now. Let us just discuss about the agenda for this particular webinar. In this webinar, we will be discussing in general about the market dynamics and trends of the IaaS industry and the generic business processes and the challenges faced by the service providers in this industry. And we will do a small gap analysis to understand the market requirements of this particular service providers. And then we will see how eVapt can help meet these challenges, followed by the value proposition of eVapt and a brief summary of the total webinar. So to start with, IaaS industry is a highly competitive industry. In the sense, the players that are in this industry have invested a much of amount into their cloud offerings, and they have recently expanded their space to all over the world, which is a very new trend in the data service industry. They have leveraged on their USPs like the cheaper rates, subscription-driven businesses, and various value additions such as more rotational cycles or add-on firewalls, etc. Along with this, they have provided improved services availability. Let us discuss in brief about how services availability is very important in this cloud. As I've said before, services availability is a very important issue when it comes to meeting the fluctuating demands of the people. Initially, people used to the data service provided their services on managed or initially the data service providers provided their services either on managed or co-location basis, in which the end subscriber had to physically rent a server, and for which he had to sometimes it led to situations wherein he had to pay more amount for what he was actually getting. So the IaaS industry has has addressed this challenge with its innovative service offering of their ability to convert this physical servers into virtual private servers, which are very dynamic in nature. The basic advantage of this virtual private servers is the flexibility that they provide the end customers to either upgrade or downgrade their services depending upon their requirements, and they will be built according to their usage. So we will see why this subscription driven model is very highly adopted in the current market scenario. If you offer services on a cloud context, the service providers as well as the end customers have many benefits. If you see that in the service provider context of view, he will be able to come up with multiple price plans and depending upon the market requirement and the target customers. And if you see it from the subscriber point of view, he will be able to choose from the different plans that are available, and he will also have the flexibility to shift from one plan to another plan depending upon his requirement, which will in turn help him to reduce his capital expenditure as well as optimizing his operational expenditure. So briefly summarizing what we have discussed in the previous slides, subscription driven businesses on a cloud offering have the following benefits for both the service providers as well as the end users. The service providers will be able to come up with customer centric price plans, and they will also be able to come up with new and innovative price plans depending upon the target markets and their customers. And if you see it from the subscriber point of view, he will be able to reduce his capital expenditure as well as optimizing his operational expenditure, and he will have the flexibility to choose various add-on services such as firewalls or an additional software applications, etc. And the service provider will be able to actually bundle all these services and provide them in a single package. Now that we have discussed about the service providers providing different, coming up with various new and innovative price plans, we will see how the pricing is, how it is actually different from a business model. As you can see, in a typical IaaS price plan, it has two parts: the fixed charges and the usage based charges. As we have discussed in the previous slides, the main reason for people adopting this subscription driven business is because of its flexibility and the ability for the end subscriber to rent the computing cycles on a very dynamic basis. This means that the subscriber has to be built in according to his usage. So if you actually see, if you actually take an example of a small subscriber with a small if you take the example of a service provider with a small subscriber base who are placed at one location itself, he can use a simple billing solution to actually bill all his subscribers. But if you take a service provider with a very large subscriber base who are placed in different regions and whose currencies are different, and if imagine having to bill each customer depending upon their usage, it'll actually complicate the business processes to a much larger extent. So at this point of time, you need to understand that a very robust billing solution in place is very essential for a company to sustain its subscriber growth, as any service provider would want to increase his subscriber base. This slide here is a typical example of how increase in customer base will result in a growth slowdown if it's not actually met to properly. So as we can see here, with the increase in the customer base, any company will actually expand the hardware that they're currently using. This expansion of hardware will actually help them to meet the ever increasing customer base demand, but it will also need so many people to manage all those hardware expansions, and which will in turn result in complicating their business processes. And if this business complexity in this business process is not handled properly, it will eventually result in a growth slowdown, as in the possibilities of revenue leakages or revenue loss, or decrease in the subscriber base, or any other problems. So at this point of time, any service provider would be thinking, what is it that he needs to do now? I mean, there is always this option for the service providers to actually scale up his business depending upon his requirement. But as you all know, the scaling up process is a very time consuming. The scaling up is a very time consuming process. So as a billing solution provider, we will advise you to actually put a robust billing solution in place right from the beginning itself, so that you don't have to face any of these problems. We will have to discuss about the basic data service providers, how they operated in the beginning. So data service providers, they didn't actually start with subscription driven model right from the beginning itself. So they didn't have to cater to such a wide variety of people. They had very small subscriber bases, and also the previous in the previous companies, I mean in the previous working methodologies, all the companies had different various third-party applications working separately for each of these applications, like for each of these modules like finance and all that. So you need to understand the importance of integration at this point of time, because now initially the payments, the end subscribers used to make all their payments either through cash or check. But now you have this flexibility of making online payments as well. So now your billing system should be able to integrate with various other third-party applications like the payment gateways as well, because in a typical IaaS ecosystem, these are all the applications that are there, and for a customer to be built according to his usage, billing application needs to interact with all these applications on a continuous basis, so that we'll be able to bill him accordingly. So as the slide shows, a typical IaaS ecosystem has all these third-party applications like the provisioning tool, the financial accounting system, the CRM, the service portal, the virtualization portal, as well as the payment gateways. So with the billing solution like eVapt, you will be actually able to integrate with all these various third-party applications and gather all the information that is needed to bill, and with the help of a web service APIs. As we have discussed in the previous slide, integration with various third-party applications is very essential, as well as its integration with a virtualization platform. Virtualization platform actually provides the it is very important for a billing application to communicate with virtualization platform for various activities such as the provisioning, monitoring and collection of usage details. This virtualization platform actually provides resources on a real-time basis for which the credit limit on a particular account should be taken into the credit limit for a particular account should be considered from the beginning itself. If we take an example of prepaid account, let us say a subscriber has probably some 10 rupees in his phone. He needs to be monitored so that when his 10 rupees balance is over, his call gets disconnected. So with the help of this web service APIs, you will be able to gather this information on a real-time basis. At this point of time, this observer agent technology comes into place, which is a web server API, which is actually installed at the client place, which gathers information on a real-time basis, so that we will be able to bill the customers depending upon their usage. Now coming to eVapt's offering, eVapt billing system interface, it basically consists of the contract management module, which will help you to manage various details regarding a contract, like the duration of a particular contract and the frequency at which the end subscriber wants to be billed, and his contract validity period, etc. Pricing and price plan management can be used to define various price plans depending upon the market requirement, and you'll also come up with price plans of the various services supporting billing frequencies, discounts, region-specific pricing, supported currency definitions, and etc. Billing and metering module can be used to manage manage the usage of various accounts and meter their usage accordingly. And revenue management will help you to manage payments in various forms. Partner management is also a module of eVapt, which will help you to define, manage and settle revenues with other business entities like the partners, resellers or the vendors. Now coming to value proposition of eVapt, it can be basically bifurcated into two parts, which is the reduction of revenue leakages and revenue maximization. Revenue leakage minimization. If you see, revenue leakage is a result of a lack of a proper business process in place, and human intervention also leads to errors in the billing. So human intervention will actually lead to errors in the billing, and it will also make the whole process very exhaustive. Automation of this billing will actually eliminate any scope for errors and completely remove the human dependency. As you can see here, if you actually automate the workflow process, and if you reduce the human intervention, this whole process will actually improve the transparency. In this way, the revenue leakages can be minimized. And if you see revenue maximization, as we have seen in the previous slides, you can actually come up with various new and flexible price plans depending upon the target markets and the customers, and you will be able to integrate your application with various third-party applications like the payment gateways, so that people can make payments comfortably, and all these processes will in turn result in the end customers satisfaction. So that is how, and this is how our eVapt billing application will help you to address the challenges that are faced by the service providers in this particular industry. And if you have any queries regarding this, please mail us at sales@evapt.com, and I hope all the participants found this webinar informative. Thanks everybody for your time.